I will be brutally simple here. I look for three broad things, and every other attribute streams from these three, let's say, attributes. For me, the first one is ethics, right? To be ethical. To me, it's very important because if you're not ethical, right? There's going to be politics. There's going to be dysfunctionality across every single level, right? Uh, to me, number two, it is enthusiasm. It's passion, right? You must love what you do, and that love for what you do is infectious, right? And to me, the third one is expertise. By expertise, what I mean is domain expertise. I mean, you've got to be good at what you are, what you do, rather. Why am I putting it in this order? You can just imagine a very high level of expertise, very high level of enthusiasm, but zero ethics.
Wow.
You are dangerous, armed and dangerous because you're an expert, right?
Yes.
Some of the biggest charmers who've been put behind bars, even from a corporate standpoint, like the founder of WeWork, right? Charm, great salesmanship, got a lot of expertise, talk the talk, all that stuff, right? He was positioning WeWork as a tech company. It was just a real estate company with Wi-Fi. And he had his wife in the company, his brother-in-law in the company,
Relatives, yeah.
and he bought a whole load of properties, and his company was hiring those properties, right? And you can just keep going on, It recently went bust. It was valued at, if I'm not mistaken, 35 or 40 billion. It was arguably the world's most valuable startup.
Correct.
At some, around, I think a few years ago, and then all these things started creeping out of the walls. This lack of ethics, lack of candor, transparency, everything you spoke about. All these games, because he's so much of enthusiasm. Steve Jobs like enthusiasm at one level, right? And even expertise. He was smart, very smart, to be able to pull this off, with SoftBank, it was the single worst, investment ever made by SoftBank.
And it really dipped SoftBank's credibility.
Yeah. And what's her name? The Theranos founder.
Yeah, I am forgetting her name.
Elizabeth Holmes.
Holmes, yeah.
She claimed that I can take a drop of blood and literally prognosticate your, illness, right? I can literally predict, right?
Wow.
It was a complete hoax. Everything was cooked up. All these research trials were BS, right? She's behind bars right now. Great charm, brilliant salesmanship, terrific expertise, right? But then no ethics. There's a second reason why, there's a reason why I put enthusiasm number two, right? I think if you're really enthusiastic, you can pick up a lot of skills, right? There's an openness that comes with the territory, right? You tend to be more adaptable, right? You tend to, get more things done, right? And so on and so forth, skills can be learned, not all skills. I just want to be clear here, you can't just say, I can just kind of Google and become a surgeon, cardiac surgeon, or stuff like that, right? So that's the order. To be ethical, to have enthusiasm, and to have expertise. Everything else comes from these three